Well, the world was shocked and saddened this past week with the death of Robin Williams, comedian and Oscar winner. He was found in his California home on Monday, and the coroner ruled his death a suicide due to asphyxia. The coroner also said that Williams had long struggled with addiction and mental illness, and I got to tell you, I can't believe that he's gone. I feel like so many people have met him. I had the good fortune to meet him at Sharon Osbourne's house when I was introduced to him by George Lucas. And, he's always funny. I got to tell you, in person, he's the same person that you see on the screen. And so many people have had so many affectionate things to say about him. So there are many of us asking the same question, why? Well, joining me today is Dr. Kathleen Hall, CEO and founder of the Stress Institute and CEO of the Mindful Living Network. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Well, his death has brought a lot to the forefront. And, you're an expert in dealing with highly functional people who have disorders that affect them. So tell me your story and your thoughts.
I identify with Robin Williams. I saw people that were highly functioning, CEOs, people that were running the country, and because I did their care, a lot of mental health, I saw that these people were highly functioning. And a lot of them were so depressed that they could even be in their offices and be in a fetal position. And
wow. People would never know that.
The people would never, ever know it. And what they went through. And I was constantly surprised because the myth is if you're clinically depressed, you stay at home, you're dirty, you look bad, you're overweight. Seriously, this has been the myth for the last 20 years.
So how do you treat those people?
Really, they have to be treated by a psychiatrist, of course, for med regulation. And what really helped was my clinical training with Dean Ornish and Herb Benson and those people, because they use a 4-quadrant program for most diseases, including stress and depression. So what I did was created this algorithm that's scientifically backed. And what I do is it's called self-care. So I would teach them and back it up with science, because these are very intelligent people that really want to know the science about why they're doing something.
That's right. Well, what can people do for those around them if they suspect that they're depressed to the point, like Robin Williams, that they might take their life?
The first thing is to recognize it. I was overfunctioning, had a traumatic brain injury, and then within a blink, I was not functioning. And even my husband, I went on for almost a year of this depression. And what happened was people are not aware of it. And that's why they get deeper and deeper. And it actually exacerbates all diseases, heart disease, hypertension. The healthcare costs to America are tremendous. By the way, depression will be the World Health Organization and the CDC. Depression will be the second leading cause of disability in the world by 2020.
That's amazing. And now with the Affordable Care Act funding a lot of mental illness treatment, there's an upside.
There is an upside because it's prevention. And hopefully people will become more aware of the symptoms. And what you do immediately is see if you can get that person to a medical doctor. A lot of people don't want to go to a medical doctor.
That's right.
Take them to your priest, your minister, somebody. If you're seeing a therapist, take them to someone that they don't feel as fearful of. What I noticed is they're afraid to go to a doctor, too, because it's in their history. Then it's written in their medical chart, and we both know, or all of us know, once it's in there in perpetuity.
Forever. That's right.
Exactly
There's insurance. Fortunately, with the Affordable Care Act, it won't be held against them for insurance purposes. So, again, a great thing because, this show is about your health, your money, and your choice. And because it's so prominent in the news with Robin Williams' death, sometimes, I think most of us have been affected by someone who's committed suicide.
Absolutely.
We have some connection to it.
Yeah, my best friend. I was called by the Atlanta Police Department and went over there, and I was actually in her suicide note, and she asked me to keep her child. This is a person highly functioning, brilliant, worked here in Atlanta, well known, and none of us, I'm going to be honest, none of us knew So it was so devastating. I can't even tell you. And here is what the deal is. Again, we think they're going to be dirty, withdrawn, and I believed the myth. And it was only when I found out what the symptoms were, what to look for, and also it's such a devastating disease.
Yes,
and when people commit suicide or are chronically depressed, it affects your marriage. It affects your business. It affects the productivity. It affects business of America. It affects everything.
Now, how are people able to function at such a high level with such severe, disease or mental illness?
Sadly enough, prescription medicine.
Okay, that's
number one. As a matter of fact, my daughter happens to be a critical care doctor, runs an ICU, and most of the people that come in there, it's hard to believe the number are overdoses. People think it's just heart attacks, strokes, and this is prescription medicines. So it's getting more and more and more.
Well, in our last minute or so, what advice do you have for our listeners?
Number one, please become aware of it, because a coworker, it's not just at home, somebody you deal with on a daily basis, even my Starbucks person who did the coffee, I noticed the symptoms, the flat affect, the optimism turns to pessimism, slow lethargy, lack of energy, and suggest in a very loving way, I know about this, if you can give them some information that you can hand them, because what they don't want to do is they feel like you're attacking them, because paranoia becomes a part of it.
Right. Well, how can people get more information on this?
You can Google. The best thing to do is Google depression and find out what the symptoms are. It's everywhere. And also go to your doctor, your physician.
And you have a website as well.
Absolutely. It's stressinstitute.com.
Wow, that sums that up. Okay, so, if you think you need some help, you can call a 1-800 number as well. 1-800-273-TALK is the National Suicide Hotline.
And Jeffrey, thank you so much, because this is such a critical topic. And,
it is right now.
And thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you so
Coming up, what's the latest on the Ebola crisis in Africa? Dr. Beth Bell from the CDC joins us. You're listening to Doc Talk with Dr. Jeffrey Gallops on Talk Radio 640 WGST.